8:15 a.m., May 24th, 2026. Buckingham Palace, room 1844. While the rest of London is just beginning its Sunday morning, a red leather dossier stamped with the gold insignia of the Prince of Wales has just hit the desk of King Charles III. This was not delivered by a junior secretary or a courier. It was hand-carried by Prince William himself. The label on the cover is chilling in its brevity. The Sussex issue, urgent. This is no longer a family disagreement over a memoir or a documentary. What we are witnessing today is the first stage of a calculated institutional purge. According to high-level palace insiders, William did not come to request a conversation. He came to demand a signature. The Prince of Wales reportedly told his father that the crown can no longer afford the luxury of silence. Sources within the room say William was blunt, stating that the line between royal service and commercial exploitation has not just been crossed, it has been obliterated. He allegedly informed the king that for the survival of the monarchy, the Duke of Sussex must be stripped of his remaining titles immediately, and the vacuum he leaves behind must be filled by someone who understands the weight of the word duty. James, the Earl of Wessex. If you are just joining us, this is an urgent breaking news report. If you want to stay updated as this constitutional crisis unfolds, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. We are monitoring the palace response every hour. The catalyst for this sudden, aggressive move? A massive financial leak from the Reserve Bank of Australia that occurred less than 48 hours ago. The leaked audit reveals a staggering $14,200,000 in security and logistical costs for Harry and Meghan's recent visit to the East Coast. The documents, which are now being circulated among the highest levels of the British government, show that while the public was told the trip was for charity and mental health advocacy, the internal ledger tells a different story. The $14.2 million provided by Australian taxpayers was allegedly used to secure venues where the couple was filming commercial content and promoting private retail partnerships. This is what experts call double dipping, using the diplomatic status of a royal title to force a Commonwealth nation to pay for a private business trip. For William, this was the final provocation. He has spent the last year meticulously building a legal trap, and the Australia scandal just snapped it shut. In the dossier presented this morning, William cites the titles: Deprivation Act of 1917, bolstered by the powerful 2025 amendments passed just last autumn. These new legal instruments allow the monarch, with the support of the Privy Council, to suspend and eventually revoke peerages if a title holder acts in a manner that substantially undermines the dignity of the crown or the financial integrity of the Commonwealth. The deadline for Harry to respond has already been set. The palace has reportedly issued a 72-hour ultimatum. But William is not waiting for a reply. From California, he has already begun the process of transferring the Sussex honors, properties, and even the associated financial instruments to James, the 18-year-old son of Prince Edward. Why James? Because he represents the anti-Harry. While the Sussexes were reportedly demanding five-star suites and private jets in Sydney, James was seen last month quietly performing his first solo engagements in Edinburgh, traveling by Standard Rail, and staying in modest official residences. William's strategy is clear. Starve the Sussex brand of its royal oxygen, and give that oxygen to the next generation of loyal working royals. The era of half-in, half-out is officially dead. Before we dive into the specific clauses of the 2025 amendments that make this title strip possible, I want to hear from you in the comments. Is William right to take this drastic step after the $14 million Australia scandal? Or is he being too harsh on his brother? Type Team William or Team Harry below, and let's see where the public stands on this historic day. The stakes could not be higher. If William succeeds, Harry will not just lose a title. He will lose the very foundation of his global brand. He will become a private citizen with a famous last name and a very long list of enemies in the British establishment. Stay with us. In the next few minutes, we will break down the exact mechanism of the Danish model William is using to streamline the monarchy and how James is being prepared for a role no one saw coming. This is a developing story. Don't go anywhere. Remember to like this video to help spread the truth about this breaking news. To understand the sheer magnitude of what is happening today, we must look at the trail of breadcrumbs William has been leaving for months. This was not a sudden burst of temper. It was a cold, calculated sequence of events, a chess game where Harry was checked before he even knew he was playing. The timeline begins on December 15th, 2025, at Sandringham. It was James's 18th birthday. While the world saw a quiet celebration for the Earl of Wessex, sources inside the estate reveal a private meeting took place in the King's Library. Prince William reportedly sat James down and laid out a new vision for the monarchy. He told his young cousin, "The family is shrinking and we need a different kind of duke. One who understands that silence is more powerful than a Netflix deal." This was the day James was told to prepare for an expanded role. The replacement was chosen before the vacancy even existed. 2 months later, on February 12th, 2026, the trap was set in London. A shadow amendment was quietly introduced in the House of Lords. It was a technical revision to the powers regarding non-working royals. There were no headlines, no press releases. But tucked away in the legal jargon was a new off switch for titles. It allowed for the immediate suspension of any peerage if the holder was found to be commercially compromised. William's legal team had just built the gallows. They only needed Harry to walk toward them. Harry did exactly that on April 10th, 2026. When the Sussexes landed in Sydney for their 4-day tour, the British tabloids dubbed it the Duke of the Dollar campaign. By April 14th, the provocation became undeniable. In Melbourne, Harry took the stage at a high-profile mental health summit. He was paid a staggering $1.5 million for a 45-minute keynote. But the detail that sealed his fate was the lectern. Harry insisted on using the royal insignia while delivering a speech funded by private equity. He was selling the crown's prestige for a personal paycheck, and every second was recorded. The fallout was instantaneous. On April 16th, in Canberra, the Governor-General issued a formal request for an audit. The Australian government wanted to know why taxpayer-funded security was being used to facilitate Meghan's promotional filming for her lifestyle brand. The diplomatic wires between Australia and London were burning. By April 20th, the Prince of Wales had seen enough. William summoned the Privy Council to a closed-door session at Kensington Palace. One attendee described William's demeanor as clinical. He wasn't acting as a brother. He was acting as the chief executive of the monarchy. He presented the council with a dossier of commercial violations and asked for one thing: the activation of the February 12th Amendment. The final warning came on May 15th. A courier arrived at the Sussexes' mansion in Montecito with a cease and desist order from the Royal Legal Office. It was a formal ultimatum to stop all commercial use of the Sussex title. Harry reportedly dismissed the letter, calling it a hollow threat from a brother who had no power to act while the king was still on the throne. He was wrong. Exactly 1 week later, on May 22nd, the hammer dropped. The Roy Morgan poll was released showing 81% of Australians, the very public Harry claimed to represent, viewed the visit as a failure. The public shield was gone, which brings us to 8:15 this morning. The timeline has reached its 0 hour. William has presented the king with the final audit from the Reserve Bank of Australia. The $14 million scandal is the point of no return. As we speak, the transition of honors to James is being finalized in the palace's legal wing. But as the Sussexes prepare their counterattack, a much darker question is beginning to emerge. What happens to the royal properties in the UK when the names on the deeds are officially erased? The answer might be hidden in a document William signed just 24 hours ago. The weight of the case against the Duke of Sussex is contained within a single heavy sapphire blue expanding file, now officially referred to in Whitehall circles as the Blue Folder. This is not a collection of news clippings or tabloid rumors. It is an exhaustive 412-page forensic audit compiled by a joint task force between the British Home Office and the Australian Federal Police. The evidence inside is devastating because it exposes a practice known in high-level government circles as double-dipping. According to sources who have seen the summary pages, the Blue Folder contains a side-by-side comparison of 2 sets of books. On the left side are the official government invoices for the April 26th Australia tour, $14.2 million in security, transport, and logistics billed to the Commonwealth under the category of diplomatic advocacy. On the right side are the production logs from a private media venture and a retail fashion platform. The Smoking Gun is a series of time-stamped entries from April 14th in Melbourne. The logs show that while taxpayer-funded specialized protection officers were on the clock to secure a charity mental health visit. The actual activity taking place behind closed doors was a high-definition commercial shoot for a global streaming platform. In simpler terms, the public paid for the shield while the Sussexes used that shield to film a commercial product. This is where the staircase of authority becomes an inescapable trap for Harry. This isn't just a palace complaint. It is a multi-agency legal mandate. The Attorney General for England and Wales has reportedly already signed off on a statement of fact confirming that these actions constitute a material breach of the original 2020 Megxit agreement. Furthermore, the Home Office has verified that the use of royal security for private commercial gain is a violation of the sovereign grant protocols. The legal engine driving this purge is a specific, recently clarified instrument known as the Crown Integrity Clause. To understand how this works, you have to look at the three-step mechanism William has triggered. Step 1 is the audit verification, the completion of the blue folder. Step 2 is the trigger of conflict, the Attorney General's confirmation that the Sussexes used their titles to bypass commercial costs. Step 3 is the most lethal, automatic suspension. Under the Crown Integrity Clause, the monarch no longer needs a long drawn-out parliamentary debate to act. If a title holder is found to be commercially leveraging the Crown's prestige for unauthorized private profit, their status can be moved into an automatic suspension. It is a legal kill switch. In this state, the titles are not yet fully removed, but they are frozen. No official use, no diplomatic recognition, and no state-funded protection. One specific detail in the folder is said to have particularly incensed Prince William. On page 84, there is an itemized receipt for a private dinner in Canberra where a high-ranking Australian retail executive was reportedly given preferential access to the Duchess under the guise of an official royal reception. The executive's company allegedly made a significant donation to a Sussex-linked entity just hours later. The palace's legal team has labeled this the Canberra Protocol violation. It provides the constitutional grounds to argue that the Sussex title has been turned into a for-hire commodity. But as the Home Office prepares the final paperwork for the King's signature, a new and even more complex problem has emerged. Deep within the Australian audit, investigators found a series of offshore transfers that don't lead back to California. They lead back to a dormant trust in London, one that Harry hasn't touched in years. The question now being whispered in the corridors of the Attorney General's office is simple. Who authorized the movement of that money? And why does it appear to be linked to a secret meeting in London just days before the Australia tour began? To understand the absolute finality of what is happening today, you have to look past the tabloid headlines and into the cold, clinical architecture of the British Constitution. Prince William is not pursuing a vendetta. He is executing a corporate restructuring. Palace sources describe the Prince of Wales' approach as surgical severance. He has moved beyond the emotional betrayal and is now operating with the precision of a chief executive protecting a multi-billion-dollar brand. The mechanism William has activated is a three-step protocol designed to isolate the Sussex brand and permanently reallocate its resources to the next generation. Step 1 is the activation. This required irrefutable proof of a material commercial breach. With the leaked $14 million audit from the Reserve Bank of Australia, that step is officially complete. William has successfully argued to the Privy Council that the Sussexes have turned their royal status into a commercial product, violating the fundamental principle that the Crown does not sell its prestige. By documenting every retail link and every paid appearance during the Australia tour, William has effectively locked the door behind Harry. Step 2 is the use of the letters patent, the King's most powerful legal instrument. This is where the strike becomes lethal. While stripping a dukedom, the title of Duke of Sussex requires a slow, public, and potentially messy act of Parliament. Removing the HRH, His Royal Highness, style is entirely within the King's royal prerogative. By advising King Charles to issue new letters patent, William has ensured that the HRH prefix can be revoked with a single signature. No debate, no vote, no appeal. This morning's reports suggest the King has already been presented with the document. Once signed, Harry ceases to be a royal prince in the eyes of the law. He is stripped of the style and title that grants him entry into the world of global diplomacy. Step 3 is the status purge. And this is the twist that no one saw coming. William is not just taking away, he is redistributing. The royal properties, the remaining sovereign budget allocated for Sussex security, and the prestigious patronages are being transferred directly to James, the Earl of Wessex. One senior palace official reportedly whispered to a Whitehall contact, "The budget doesn't just disappear. It moves to where the loyalty is." James is the new anchor. By transferring these instruments to James, William is effectively deplatforming Harry. The offices, the staff, and the historic ties that once belonged to the Sussexes are being handed over to an 18-year-old who has never given a tell-all interview. The immediate consequence of this three-step process is a total loss of diplomatic status. For the first time in his life, Harry will wake up as Mr. Henry Mountbatten Windsor. To the public, it may just seem like a name change, but in the world of international security, it is a catastrophe. As a private citizen, Harry loses his internationally protected person status. He will no longer be entitled to diplomatic immunity. He will be subject to the same visa requirements, tax disclosures, and legal scrutiny as any other British citizen living in the United States. He will be a man with a famous face, but zero sovereign protection. The question everyone is asking at this hour: what happens when a man who has spent his life under a royal shield suddenly finds himself exposed to the full weight of international law? There are reports that a specific legal challenge regarding Harry's U.S. visa status has already been filed in a D.C. court, waiting for the exact moment his HRH status is officially erased. The shield is falling, and for the Sussexes, the timing could not be worse. While the world's attention remains fixed on the legal fallout in California, a far more significant shift is occurring within the physical walls of Buckingham Palace. If you want to know who is winning this war, don't look at the press releases, look at the floor plan of the West Wing. As of 9:30 a.m. today, May 24, 2026, a new nameplate has been affixed to a high-ceilinged office just 3 doors down from Prince William's personal study. It belongs to James, the Earl of Wessex. The contrast is jarring. While Harry and Meghan remain behind the gates of their rented villa in Montecito, navigating the complexities of commercial contracts and security litigation, James has been moved into the very heart of the sovereign's operations. This isn't just about office space, it is about proximity to power. In the geography of the monarchy, distance equals relevance. By placing James in the West Wing, William is sending a silent, devastating message to his brother. The vacancy has been filled. This is the anti-Harry strategy in full effect. William is meticulously crafting James as the institutional antidote to the Sussex brand. Where Harry chose high-decibel interviews and a 6-part documentary series, James has mastered the art of the quiet royal. For 18 years, his parents, Edward and Sophie, have raised him in almost total media isolation, instilling a philosophy of service without the need for a spotlight. To the British public, James is a blank slate, and in the world of high-stakes PR, that is a superpower. He has no scandals to defend, no memoirs to explain, and no commercial entanglements to justify. He represents the neo-realism of William's reign, a monarchy that is leaner, quieter, and focused entirely on the job. But the most painful blow for Harry isn't a title or an office. It is a legacy. Internal palace documents confirmed this morning that James is officially taking over the leadership of the Duke of Edinburgh's award. This is the Global Youth Achievement Program founded by Prince Philip, a role that Harry was once widely expected to inherit before the events of 2020. It is a massive network spanning over 130 countries, involving millions of young people and billions in philanthropic influence. For years, it was whispered that losing this specific patronage was Harry's greatest regret. Now, it belongs to his 18-year-old cousin. When insiders say James gets everything, they aren't just talking about the Sussex honors. They are talking about the sovereign trust, the intangible web of connections, the loyalty of the old guard, and the keys to the family's global philanthropic machine. James didn't have to buy this influence. He inherited it by simply staying in the room. The irony is thick. Harry spent millions on PR firms to build a global icon brand, only to watch a quiet teenager in a navy suit walk away with the keys to the kingdom's most prestigious institutions. While Harry was promoted as a celebrity, James is being groomed as a statesman. But there is a detail in James's new appointment that has raised eyebrows among constitutional scholars. His new role at the palace includes a direct oversight of the duchy assets currently being audited in the wake of the Australia scandal. James isn't just taking Harry's place. He is being tasked with investigating the mess Harry left behind. As James prepares to make his first televised address as the new face of the Duke of Edinburgh's award, the question remains, can a teenager truly shoulder the weight of a title that broke a man twice his age? Or is William setting James up for a collision course with a brother who has nothing left to lose? As the sun sets over London on this historic May 24th, the question is no longer whether the Sussex brand will survive, but how messy the final collapse will be. We are now entering the end game, a phase royal historians will likely call the Great Severance. Based on the secret briefings circulating within the Home Office and the Privy Council, we can now map out the three likely paths for the next 6 months. The first scenario, the worst case for the monarchy, is a total scorched earth legal war. Sources in California suggest that Harry's legal team has already drafted a petition to challenge the Parliament Act itself. If Harry decides to sue the British government, we are looking at a 5-year constitutional stalemate. This would drag every private conversation, every email, and every palace secret into the public record. It is a war of attrition that could permanently damage the crown, but it would also bankrupt Harry both financially and reputationally. The second, more neutral scenario is the Gilded Cage Compromise. In this version, Harry is allowed to keep the purely ceremonial title of Duke as a courtesy, but it comes with a global, legally binding injunction. He would be barred on penalty of immediate forfeiture from using the title for any commercial venture, retail partnership, or media production. He would have the name, but he would lose the ability to monetize it. It would render the Sussex brand a hollow shell, a prestigious car with no engine. However, the third scenario is the one most insiders believe is currently being negotiated behind closed doors. This is William's master move. The Prince of Wales is reportedly using the one piece of leverage he knows Harry cannot ignore, the future of Archie and Lilibet. The deal is simple, but brutal. Harry must voluntarily renounce his titles and the HRH style. In exchange, William will guarantee that Archie and Lilibet's titles remain intact, and their place in the line of succession is protected. William is a pragmatist. He is looking at his own future coronation as King William V, and he wants the Sussex drama settled, buried, and forgotten before he takes his oath. He is giving Harry an out. Lose your status to save your children's. It is a high-stakes hostage negotiation where the currency is royal blood. But as this breaking news continues to develop, a new and terrifying variable has just entered the equation. While investigators were combing through the digital footprints of the Australia tour, they reportedly discovered a failsafe hidden in a secure server. Our sources confirmed the existence of a 12-minute audio recording captured in a private suite in Sydney between Meghan and a senior Commonwealth politician. The content of this recording is said to go far beyond financial disputes. It allegedly contains details regarding a private crisis involving Prince William dating back to 2019, a secret the palace thought was buried forever. If Harry is pushed to the edge, if the letters patent are signed and he is stripped of everything, does he hold the nuclear button that could take William down with him? We are currently verifying the authenticity of these reports with our contacts in Canberra and London. The game has changed. This is no longer just about titles. It is about survival. What do you think? Is William's master move a fair trade? Or has he finally pushed his brother too far? Will this secret recording be the end of the monarchy as we know it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We are reading every single one. If you found this investigative breakdown helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We are tracking this story minute by minute as the 72-hour deadline approaches. Don't miss our next update on the Australia tapes. See you in the next dossier.